Councilmember Ryan Lukson points out there's a bit of a problem.
We'll have these mixed-use communities where we design these plans, and we're going to have commercial and business and retail, and it all looks great on paper. We get a request years down the road that goes through the planning commission, and staff kind of recommends that we change it, and then we just end up as a council, oftentimes, unfortunately, just approving those without a lot of dissent.
So Mr. Lukson identifies the issue very clearly. The reason council is unable to see its vision through is not that council is too divided, it's because there isn't any dissent when they compromise on their own vision.
When we get those requests, it's because the developers don't think that they can fit in that particular box. A lot of times it may be just that's not the product that they do, but they own the property and they want to change it to the product that they do.
A few days ago, when I wrote posts saying that keeping Richland 1 is how we ended up with waterfront drive-thrus, this is what I meant. I was told 15 years ago that the city's design standards disallowed drive-thrus in the central business district for new construction. And it makes sense. You don't see drive-thru in downtown Portland or Seattle or heck, even downtown Walla Walla. Having a drive-thru takes a piece of property that could earn the city 20 times as much tax revenue, where you've got mixed use and you've got multiple stories and you've got a lot of value that's being created in a dense amount of real estate. So how does this even happen?
And I know a lot of times it's, we want to allow them to go through the process, see what comes out through the planning commission. Planning commission usually feels kind of obligated to work with the folks and try to get them what they want. And then it comes back to the council, and now you're back to, we see that it was recommended for approval by the planning commission, but we didn't really think this was such a great idea, but we wanted it to go through the process.
Okay, staff unelected, planning commission unelected, but they give their recommendation and the council just says, okay. And it's important to understand that nearly all of the time that this happens, specifically unless there's a council member who objects, the approval is added to what's called the consent agenda, which these are all a bunch of items that are voted on as one big block because no one objects.
Like you said, you have recommendation from the planning commission and you have the applicant. We're typically going to approve those because it's difficult, to see one small piece of a very large puzzle and how that affects the picture. But when we do it over and over and over again, we're really just undermining what we're trying to achieve.
Each individual action is small, but they do it over and over and over and undermine what they're trying to achieve. You'll see Mr. Stevens nod here to the fact that he's going to deliver a somewhat delicate message, which is, you don't have to.
I haven't run it by my superiors yet, but since these are legislative items, the council is not obligated to push any of them forward to planning commission for public hearing review.
Council members who have donors who are developers, who have friends who are developers, those developers, they're not worried about fitting within the city's vision. They just want to get their projects done.
I wouldn't want to slow down developers from being able to do something.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to slow down developers who are my friends either, or who are my donors either. That's completely reasonable. And there are constituents. So of course we don't want to slow them down. But then why are you having a vision? So most of the council, Lukson included, in fact, is backed by realtors, which means developers. And they can talk all day about a vision, but then when the rubber meets the road, the city council just keeps acting as a rubber stamp. As Mike says, is the trade-off that makes the alternative so challenging.
It's not really quite the rubber stamp as they probably have been in the past.
So what's the point? How does this relate to districts? Do you know who's going to care the most about the council reneging on its vision? The people who live in the area where that vision is being played out. So each time the council is compromising its vision for an area of town that has representation, do you think there will be dissent? Do you think the council is more or less likely to make their vision a reality if they have that dissent?
An item for future conversation, for sure.